So as we go into our 10 years of Curated here in Miami, one of the goals with our new videos and our content is to double down on the history and the information that we share with the world. And I realize that some of our videos don't always go into the broader history and the broader context of so many of these incredible supercars. So today, let's maybe call this a new format, but we are going to give you a tour of some of the most incredible supercars that have been produced over the last 30, 40 years and the stories behind them. So there's some really incredible moments today. I think we first, before we jump into the Porsche Carrera GT, very much like the F50, when you think of the ethos of the Carrera GT was developed from a potential motorsport project that was canceled, a Le Mans racing car, this engine and this chassis design, and then that car would be developed into a road car. And what we have here, many people have considered the greatest analog supercar or the last analog supercar of our time. This is a carbon fiber monocoque, a tub, carbon fiber body. Every part of this car is carbon, manual transmission, and an absolutely phenomenal gearbox. No flywheel, which was very controversial when this car first came out, because the clutch, if you don't know what you're doing, is very difficult to understand. It's an in or out system. You are not touching the gas while you're releasing the clutch, which is not something you'd normally think of. So a lot of people complained about the clutch and complained about these cars when they were first new. And you're talking about a V10 engine that sounds absolutely incredible, possibly one of the best sounding engines of all times. Revs quick because there's no flywheel, and these cars are just so incredible to drive. The fit and finish is perfect. The roof comes off. These two top panels here come off and go into the front bonnet. Now, we've done a ton of research on these cars lately. We've had this incredible opportunity this year to sell about 5 or 6 of these cars, actually 6. Of those 6, 3 were paint to sample cars. Now, let's go into some numbers. There were 1,269 Carrera GTs produced for the world. I've seen some reports that say 1,270. Not true. 1,269 production cars produced. There were 600, and I need to check this note for 1 second. There were 656 U.S. documented cars. That number is updated. There's some in wrong numbers online. That's 656 cars. Now, of those 656 cars, 350 were produced in GT Silver. Now, the GT Silver was the most common color. More than half of all production numbers, about 51%, were produced in the GT Silver, which was the original launch color of this car. And this interior color was actually the original launch color. It's the Ascot interior. So the standard colors of these cars were the Guards Red, the GT Silver, the black, the Basalt Black, and the Faience Yellow. You had a choice on the interior of terracotta, the Ascot Brown, or the natural gray leather, which was really black interior. Most people chose the black interior. If you wanted something like the launch spec, you chose the Ascot interior, and that's what we're standing with today. 3,900 miles. We just had the opportunity to purchase this car, and these cars are fantastic. The Carrera GT was produced between 2004 and 2006. When you think of the holy trinity of supercars in this concept that really started with this generation. It was the McLaren SLR, the Ferrari Enzo, and the Carrera GT. I would say that the Carrera GT might be my favorite of the bunch. The Enzo, obviously, production numbers are much lower. The SLR much higher. Now, what was interesting is these cars all came out in price-wise between $500,000 and $1 million at the time, and they really all struggled to sell. The Enzo was the one that there was obviously a demand. They brought a little premium when they first came out, but Carrera GTs sat on showroom floors for years. Now, another car from that generation that we've dealt in a lot of these cars, and when you think of the production numbers of a Carrera GT or even an Enzo, and then you talk about this car, it makes this car just that much more exciting. This is the Koenigsegg CCX. Now, This car actually tells a very similar story of a car that we will talk about shortly, the RUF CTR Anniversary, because this is the first time that from the front to the rear, Koenigsegg produced a car that was built completely in-house. The CCX was the launch of their own developed engine, that 4.7-liter twin supercharged V8, pumping out over 800 horsepower. And this was a car that, with its carbon fiber monocoque and all of the aerodynamics, was built to go 245 mile an hour plus. Now, what's so cool about this car when you look back is only 49 cars were produced for the world, 14 cars produced for the US. So this was at a moment before Koenigsegg became the name brand it is today, and they were really a very, very small boutique supercar manufacturer out of Sweden. And when you think of Koenigsegg and what they've done today, I mean, the Jesko's sold out, the CC850 is sold out, the Gemera is sold out. So all of their cars are sold out, I believe, until 2027. So looking back on this, I think it's such an important car. These cars were rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, ton of horsepower, and so cool. 14 examples for the US. I believe of those 14, only 11 were manual transmission. This is believed to be the lowest one, the lowest mileage car left in the world. And I think, again, when you think of Koenigsegg and all of the developments that they've done, this car is way ahead of its time. The iconic doors, the iconic roof that comes off the carbon panel, so cool and very special to have it here. Now, when you think of supercars and you think of the progression of supercars, I can't tell you guys how important I feel this exact car, this generation of cars, is to the supercar. In my eyes, this is the car that changed the supercar world forever, and this is the 1978 Lamborghini Countach LP400S Series 1. Now, in 1971, Lamborghini Murcielago designed the original Countach design, which is this beautiful wedge-shaped concept, and it, very shocking to the world. It was unveiled first at the 1971 Geneva Motor Show. That original design of the LP500 was just really, really wild, way ahead of its time with the scissor doors and its entire design. And that car would later go into production into the LP400 Periscopio cars. Now, the biggest difference between those cars and this car is the wide wheels and flares. And that was the first Countach with the side flares that you see here, the lower flare here, the side flares here, the rear flare here, a big fat wing, and this staggered design of these wide wheel in the rear and this tucked in wheel at the front. And these are the famous magnesium wheels that were called Bravo wheels, first used on that first Countach by Walter Wolf. And this is the first time that any tire manufacturer had produced a tire so wide. The Pirelli P7 was first used on the Lamborghini Countach LP400S. Only 50 LP400S examples, Series 1, were built for the world. I look at these as the holy grail of when you think of the Countach, and these Bravo wheels just look so good. Only 50 cars came like that, and these cars are called low body because they were built on the same body chassis doors as the original Periscopio cars. It looks great. It's total art. It's so rare. You imagine there's only 50 cars like this. This car is a really great example. We recently went through the car for a very good client. Countaches are so misunderstood, but I just think they are going to continue to grow on their own. I think this is the most important variant produced, and it's so important, I think, amongst the other supercars to have this car. We have a few other Countaches here that we'll talk about, and then obviously Murcielago and Diablo. But again, so cool. The next supercar here is an absolute, really just big statement from one of the most important tuning companies of our time, and we can't even call them a tuning company anymore. They are truly a manufacturer. They've been a manufacturer for many years, but this is the car that really changed the mold for RUF. Now, We've talked about the original RUF Yellowbird as being an important car in terms of RUF's history and supercar history in general. It's the car that broke all the top speed records. It's the car that really put RUF on the map. The cover of magazines, the famous Nürburgring video around the racetrack. Again, the original CTR Yellowbird really made everyone take a look at RUF. And if you don't know, RUF was not just a tuning company. They actually would take what you would call a body in white from Porsche, a car with basically no VIN number, and they would build it ground up. They would build it from the ground up, whatever it was, a CTR, a BTR. The CTR was the twin turbo car that we've talked about many, many times. And they'd build it from the ground up, and they'd put their RUF VIN, which was a W09 VIN. Now, RUF also built conversion cars. They'd take a standard 911 that was already built, they'd tear it back down to the ground, and they'd build that back up. So they built two types of cars. Now, between 1987 and I believe 1991, RUF originally built 50 CTR Yellowbirds. 29 had the RUF VIN. The other 31 were conversions, so they had a Porsche VIN, but they were built in the same way. They had the same top speed. A few of the cars were considered lightweights. They had a lightweight hood, different transmissions. You could have got a 5-speed or 6-speed. But this car was launched in 2017 as a way to celebrate and honor their original CTR from 1987. And what's so important about the CTR Anniversary is this is no longer a Porsche. From the ground up, from the carbon fiber monocoque, the body panels, the lights, everything about this car is RUF. And I think it's so special that now, from the front to the rear, there's nothing Porsche on this car anymore. This is their own car. Over 700 horsepower, a 7-speed manual transmission, 2,600 pounds. This is an astonishing car. We love these RUF's cars. It's been an honor to purchase this car. We're working on selling this now to a really great client in the US, and excited to have it here. I'm a massive RUF fan. We're talking about the ultimate boutique supercar manufacturer today in many ways. These cars are usable, they're fast, they're comfortable, and I think the cult following of RUF is just getting started. Now, we can't talk about the supercar and this insane history of supercars without talking about the EB110 SS here and the EB110 GT behind me. What's so interesting is, and this just occurred to me, these are both prototype cars. This is the original prototype GT, and this is one of the original prototype SS cars. But these cars are so different. And when you talk to our techs, you talk to anyone that has driven these cars, the SS is truly what the EB110 acclaimed to be. Now, diving into, and we just talked about, we just jumped into a long video of these cars, but I think when people think of Bugatti, I think of truly the flagship of the world. And, you know, you think of the new cars today and constantly breaking the speed record. I look at the Bugatti Veyron, and we just sold an incredible Bugatti Veyron Sang Noir, which I believe we will have at Monterey Car Week. When Volkswagen Audi Group took over Bugatti, they truly understood the feat and their purpose. They did not give up in building the first 1,000 horsepower car. They did not give up in building a production car. They did not give up in building a car that would totally eviscerate all top speed records. And I think they truly understood the goal of Roman Artioli in the original Bugatti supercar company and the original ethos of Bugatti, the pre-war brand that completely changed the world. I mean, when you're talking about competition and luxury cars and all of these things, Bugatti was always seen as sort of this ultimate achievement of the automobile. And I think if we had had a few more years to see what Roman Artioli could have done with the original Italian Bugatti brand, I think we would have seen some special things. Because really this car, you know, when you think about the V12, the quad turbos, the fit and finish, the way the four-wheel drive, carbon monocoque, there's so many superlatives in the supercar world. It's the first car, production car to be built with a carbon monocoque. Everything else today is built the same way. The fit and finish is incredible. The way the doors shut is incredible. We're talking about groundbreaking horsepower, over 600 horsepower in its time. a car that set the world speed record. You know, I just think so important in the context. Fast forward to the Bugatti of today. It'll be exciting to see what Rimac does and with the new car and all of the changes. But it's such an important part of Bugatti history to have here. One of 36 EB110 SS produced, and I believe 84 GT produced. So really special to have both of these in the showroom now. Now, we cannot ignore, you guys see a 288 GT over there. This is the first supercar from Ferrari, and stay tuned. I promise you, we will have something very, very special when it comes to 288 GTO content. You know, you think of a car that was built for the Group B racing segment, and a car, twin turbo, V8, ton of horsepower, magnificent car, and we have something, I promise you, coming very, very soon on 288 GTO history. But you can't talk about supercars without talking, in many ways, one of the most important supercars produced by Lamborghini, the Murcielago. We've just done so much research on these cars. We've really fallen in love with these cars. I think these cars are such an expression of the time and a moment in time where Volkswagen Audi Group was purchasing Lamborghini, and they did not love, in 1997, 1998, Lamborghini had already developed the replacement to the Diablo, which was to be the Canto. And it was not loved by the director at the time, the head of Volkswagen Audi Group, and he basically asked Luc Donkervoort to come in and produce the Murcielago. And I think there's so much love in this car, and so much styling, and so much character, and so much DNA. And I think it's proof to the fact that Luc Donkervoort and the head of Volkswagen Audi Group had no other outside influence. He was really able to design something that came from his heart, and it was pure, and it was radical, and it was groundbreaking. Everything from the wings that would come up to allow more air into the engine, and really push the barriers. These are two very special cars. We had just sold this. This is a great way to talk about the Murcielago, because these are really, truly the bookend cars. This is an early 2002, 2003 model. So the first coupes that were produced, the 580 car, 6.2 liter V12. The first cars built between 2002 and 2003 were all manual transmission. Just under 1,000 cars were produced for the world. Just under 400 cars came to North America. And man, to find a nice one today is very tough. These cars were driven very hard in period. They were abused. They were in accidents. But what amazing cars were they. Carbon fiber body. We're talking about, you know, just under 600 horsepower, manual transmission, four-wheel drive. And I think the styling of this car has become completely timeless today. This car just arrived. It's actually in a very rare color, Rosso Vic. And the Rosso Vic color was actually originally produced to honor the director or distributor for Lamborghini of North America, Lamborghini USA, Vic Colunion. So very rare color and very, very nice example. And then fast forward, after years of development in 2004, Lamborghini would launched the E-Gear system, which was the F1 transmission or the paddle shift system. It was a Magneti Marelli-based system that worked with the V12. And really, once 2004 started, I would say no one was ordering manual transmission cars. And the proof is in this car right here. This is a 2008 LP640 six-speed manual car. Now, the LP640 was launched originally in 2006. As a 2007, 2008, 2009 model. The last LP640s were produced in 2010. But these early cars, and these cars in general, to find one as a manual was just so rare. No one was ordering a manual transmission. It was seen as sort of like ancient technology. But man, were they wrong, because these cars are hot today. A few recent public transactions, anywhere between $1 million and $1.5 million for an LP640 manual. And again, and the reason is just production numbers of these cars. 88 coupes produced for the world. I believe there were 19 roadsters and 5 or 7 of the SV version of the manual. So super, super rare. This car is probably one of the best left in the world. 3,800 miles. We sold this to an incredible collection. But again, So cool to have these cars here, both the sort of bookends. And really, I think the showroom now tells this incredible story of supercar history. Stay tuned, guys. I promise you, we have so much incredible content coming. We're going out to Monterey in the next week or so. We're gonna have an incredible time. We have some huge surprises. I hope you liked today's content. I'm a little out of breath, but I tried to share with you my passion, my knowledge for these cars, and feel free to put in any questions you have in the comments. We're here to share the love and share these supercars.